Brett the Pikey Johns. Were you at Fight Night Contender Series 1?
Yeah, in the middle of a shed in Carmarthen.
In the middle of a shed in Carmarthen, in the rural outback of West Wales. It's a few times I've been sort of chasing you down at these local shows. What's this one been like tonight so far?
Do you know, it brings back a lot of memories for me because of this actual venue. I fought 7 years ago. Yeah, so I had my second pro fight. I think I did. Yeah. And it was like a really good fight. And I fought a guy from Lithuania, and he was okay. He come prepared, but I think I might have got a triangle, which is unheard of now. Brett John's getting a triangle. I can't close my legs now. I get too stiff. But no, it was a good show. It was a really good show, and boys. It was a really good show at the time, and it was good. It's nice to come back here. I feel like fair play to John and the Contenders guys. They kind of setting a platform for the amateurs, and there's been some really good fights, so far. So looking forward to seeing how the rest of the night holds. Yeah.
And as for yourself then, you've just come back from the Performance Institute out in Vegas.
Yeah, well,
you've had a few injuries, but you've been out there doing a bit of training. What's that been like for you?
Yeah, so obviously last December I thought it'd be a really good idea to do Polaris, and I thought it'd be a really good idea to fight a guy who's really legit at jiu-jitsu. Yeah. And he footlocked me in 44 seconds, and I had like a slight tear in my MCL on my right leg. Then I hit January and started training slowly on that, and it was hurting, but it wasn't too bad. And then the end of January, we had a name and a date through. We wanted to be on London, and unfortunately that couldn't happen. So they offered us Eddie Wineland in Nashville, Tennessee. It was a week after. It was a big name. It was a week after UFC London this time, and then the morning I had the name, I went training that night, and my left knee just did a bang sound. I don't know what it was. Turns out it was a big tear in the LCL up the side of the leg. So I did my MCL on my right leg and my LCL on my left leg. Okay. And obviously I've had a bad shoulder for a very, very long time. That shoulder injury went back to January 2013. Yeah. And so we decided, I just kind of, after that I kind of just went on a drinking spree. Not that I've got a problem, because I haven't got a problem, but like it was nothing to aim for. And with me, if there's nothing to aim for and I can't concentrate on training, I'll put my mind to something else. Yeah. And my brother thought of an idea of going to Vegas for 3 weeks. Not that I wanted to, cause I'm the type of guy who doesn't want to go somewhere until I'm gone there and I'm happy there. Yeah. So that was the big thing for me, and we spent 3 weeks out there. Literally, it's 14 weeks ago I went to Vegas. Spent 3 weeks out there. And it's been 14 weeks since I left, and I've gone from weight-wise. I've gone from like 169 I was weighing out there, and now I'm 155. So just to put, I've lost 13, 14 pounds ish. And
so a good trip then,
it was positive trip. It was a success. I learned so much, not just about nutrition. I learned stuff about diet. I learned stuff about they were gobsmacked at the amount of I train and not enough rest days, and it's like that cliche thing. I see so many fighters going through it. It's just when there's nothing else to do, we like to train, and but the only problem is you get fatigued, because at the minute I feel like I'm a little bit fatigued. So I'm planning on next week, taking like a week off, nice and light. I got Derby away with the Swans next week as well. I'll have a nose up in Derby, just a little nose, have a little look, and we'll get back to it. Obviously, it's been a 14-week camp to now, and I haven't had a fight, so I feel like, not that it's wasted time, but I feel like now I've hit that wall of fatigue, and now I need to take a little break, a week. 5 days, whatever. Well, this is what was bringing on to my next question, because you haven't got a fight announced at the moment, but there is a big card coming up in Copenhagen. Obviously, we've got John Phillips is going to be on that card. We've heard rumours that potentially Jack Shaw might be on it. Nothing announced for either of you guys yet, but are you hoping to be on that one? Look, I've been begging. It's no secret. I've been begging on social media that I want to get on that card. For me, it's I have done everything the UFC have asked me to do. I have fought the guys they've asked me to fight, and the only fight I've ever declined was Pedro Munoz back in February. The reason why I declined it, I wasn't going to make weight in time. I was a little bit too heavy after Christmas, and I said, look, I'll fight that guy, no problem at all. Just give me a bit of time. And they rescheduled that fight for August, and I took that fight in August, like I promised I would. I felt like they've given me names, and I felt like I was a bit of like the bounce back fight. Yeah. Now I want my fight. Now I want a fight where I feel like I'm getting that benefit there, because I felt like it was more towards Sterling and Pedro. Not that I felt completely out of completely out my depth in that fight, because I didn't. I feel like it was small margins before the fight. Definitely. The biggest thing for me before the Aljamain fight was my mental approach to that fight. I wasn't in the best place mentally before the fight. Physically brilliant, fitness wise brilliant, wake up brilliant. The same as Pedro, but I felt like I was trying to get over that Sterling fight then. And I learned a lot over the last year. I've learned that I need to enjoy the sport, and the last 14 weeks I've fallen back in love with the sport, and you know, I want to aim for Copenhagen because that's what I want, and I feel like the UFC. Well, it's up to them at the end of the day. It doesn't matter what I think, but
any names on the tip of your tongue, or?
To be honest, like I said this, you know, people are like, oh, I'm not going to say anyone because I'd be lying. At the end of the day, in my opinion, two of the most, I'd say, feared bantamweights in the UFC would have to be Moraes and Pedro Munoz. And I fought Pedro, so anybody else really is not going to be that intimidating to me, you know what I mean? But at the minute, I think I'm ranked just outside the top 20, if not the top 20, somewhere on that level. Get me back in the win column, then I'll happily climb back up the ladder. You know, my ambition in the UFC is obviously to still go for the belt. Of course it is, you know. I feel like there's very fine margins, and I learned that in the last two fights. There's fine margins, and I hit like a bit of a rut after them fights. Like I hit like a bit of a thing where like I was really disappointed, lost, and then realised, well, the guys you lost were second and fifth in the world. You know what I mean?
Both have got a shout for a title shot at the moment. So I think this is what I was going to ask. Where do you see yourself in that division as of now? Because you came into the division a two-time champion in Cage Warriors and Titan. You got a couple of wins in the UFC, 3 in a row. You're definitely sort of past that first stage. I think. Where do you see yourself now? Sort of hovering around that top 10 maybe?
Yeah, like honestly, like if I had to pick a ranking in my head where I thought I was, I'd be in the top 10. I generally do believe that. The guys in the top 15, they're all good. I'm not gonna lie, if you're in the UFC, you're a good fighter at the end of the day. It doesn't matter what weight you are. But for me, I definitely see myself in that top 10 scenario, and I want to like obviously take it more on from there.
Yeah. Well, Brett, we look forward to seeing you back in there, whether it's on Copenhagen or later on.
Well, fingers crossed. Fingers crossed it's Copenhagen, otherwise don't call me.
Can't wait to see you back in there, buddy.
Thank you, cheers. Yeah.